We will be live in now.
Give it a minute. Give it a minute. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Nerdy Bottom
Hello.
Podcast.
What's up?
Yeah, super exciting. We got two returning faces,
Yes.
and we got the two, existing that's been here all the time. I'd like to introduce you guys, Jason, Crayton, and Pete Ferry of Factions Battlegrounds. Bam! Take it away, guys.
All right, hello everyone. We are glad to be here and glad to be back and speaking to you guys.
Yes.
A lot has changed since the last time we've been here.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
last time you guys were on, it was February 2021. I believe so.
Okay.
Early February.
Yeah.
And we've been getting some game time, and let me just tell you guys. So I even before today, I definitely was like, yo, I need 5 games like stat within like the next 3 hours.
And we did just that last weekend, actually.
There you go. There you go.
But yeah, go ahead. Sorry for interrupting you, Jason.
Oh no, I was just saying like we're glad to be back because there's been a lot has changed. The game's been in production since the last time we've been on the show. You guys have been able to play the game like the official like production copies since the last time we've been on the show. So there's a lot we get to talk about today.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Actually, it's funny. Like, Ranuma has been playing more of the factions, but I kind of stuck to my Zermano, and I have pride in it, even though it's not 100% like the best for me yet. But like actually, Randolph helped me out with this strategy that I'm just like, why does this work for some reason every time I use it? I was like, does another strategy work if I change it up? It didn't work, but it did help. I mean, so like talking about the game now. So like, there are a lot of strategies depending on which faction there is. Is there do you guys have any names for strategies? I guess for any of the factions that are currently available in the game.
Yeah, I think that's a great point because we try to design every faction to have at least 2 or 3 kind of distinct strategies. As far as actually kind of naming those out, what's really cool is you'll hear people play and kind of come up with their own names for it because they kind of mix it together. We did this tournament up here and there was a group of kids who are big fans of the game and they kept calling like the backliner strategy, which basically meant they just kept all of their spellcasters and range units at the back and would basically shoot over to take people down. And that was actually a Zermano strategy. So you can adapt that term.
Oh my God.
So there's a lot of I think it's cool because there's archetypes kind of built into each faction about aggression or range or using multiple units or using some big units. But we're kind of letting organically people kind of come up with how they want to term it. Because the game is about player choice, so people can really kind of choose the strategies they want and then kind of find their own battleground identities, I guess you could say.
Absolutely, and I think that's the interesting thing too, because Peter and I have seen people do things that we didn't think about initially when the game was designed. For example, like Peter, I think it was Peter who just wrote the article recently about the tactic of hummingbirding. When someone takes a flyer and they just put it over a resource and they just leave it there. It's like a way to control the board essentially to keep people away from resources.
Whoa!
And you still have this unit that generates its own resource too. And so it's a good way to kind of double up on that. And so I didn't think about that until I saw someone actually do it and Peter wrote the article about it. So it's coll to see that organic strategy that's developed when people play the game more.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty cool because
what was that called?
I actually hummingbirding.
Hummingbirding.
Yeah,
That
it's where
is
you
tight.
hover over the resources.
Yeah.
And I actually did that right before I did that not knowingly what it's called, and I read the article. I'm like, oh, so this is a thing then. So I would have my big bird from Ihalaban just take the gold, just all over it, and then just have them come at me. But that was in the beginning stages when I actually get a chance to play Ihalabon. So.
Oh.
Yeah, that was actually written by TR. Not sure if they're listening, but TR in New York. They're writing some articles and are kind of playing through and everything. But yeah, it's cool because TR, they weren't involved in creating the game, but they've been watching the game and playing it a little bit, working on prototypes, and they have their own takes and strategies and stuff too. And so we're really excited just to see what people can do, what they come up with.
That's awesome. I mean, for them to have names for them, and obviously it's up to you guys to make them canon. So,
right?
That's
that's
amazing. Yeah. The power you guys hold. Oh my gosh, you guys are like the gods of the game.
I know.
Battlegrounds.
They created the factions.
Right.
That's right.
Oh man. Okay. So there's strategy names, which is what I was gonna ask. I was like, are there any? And there's Backliner. You said, was that right? Backliner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other one was Hummingbirding. That is just incredible, because I know in chess there are a lot of like defensive formations and offensive formations. I guess like one, for example, would be like Queen's Gambit, which was made into a show. And I'm just like, it would be really cool if there were people that, or if you guys had strategies like that. So it's exciting to hear that there are, those very names in this game,
Yeah.
And oh man, that blows me away, because
I think too. Oh, I'm sorry, Go
ahead.
Oh
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think too, it's important. Like Jason and I created the game, but that doesn't mean we're gonna be the best players at the game, by any stretch. Like,
right.
We just basically had to build a system where everything was relatively balanced and people could find out, their best strategies within it. So, like when people do stuff, we're learning about it for the first time too, and everything so far has been balanced, and it's been up to players to choose their path to victory. So there's going to be a lot of people who are a lot better at it than we are, and I wouldn't be surprised if both of you could beat us, a time or two at it by now. So, yeah.
Yeah, so one thing I'd like to add to that is I think I feel like I have to meet my son first before I can go up against you guys, because he's like, one night it was 3-0 a couple days ago, and yeah, he was loving it. Oh my goodness!
And
I was cheering for you by the end. I was like, "Come on, you're gonna get one. You're getting one. I know it."
He's like, "You got this. I can feel it." I'm like, "Thanks, Pete. Thank you."
I remember going up against him, Angel, and I was just like, "Okay, yeah, he's smoking me right now." I mean, it is clearly that way. Like, I'm just getting destroyed, and then I'm watching as he plays. Like when he does the resource. Counting his resources and doing all the add ups and everything for gold and mana and all that, and even for victory points. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, is he doing it in the right order? Because I'm like, oh wait, hold on. And then so I guess it was in the middle of the game where I realized I'm being destroyed, and then I kind of backtracked how he's moving, and he's playing the game correctly, but there's only certain things that the order didn't make any sense to me. And then at the end of the game, Angel's like, no, because I did this. Oh, I didn't do this. But if I did that, this is what's going to happen. And he literally explained it in the correct order after he had destroyed me in the wrong order. So this is how good he is. And I cannot believe he's 11 years old. He smoked me twice. The last game with him, he was falling asleep too. Check it out. So the score was 24-16 first 25, okay? Yeah. And then all of a sudden, he kills one of my guys on the board. I forgot who it was. I believe it was he's the malleable Zermano guy. He's all blue.
The Golem.
Yeah. So he killed him, gives him 5 points, was up to 20. Okay.
I've seen this part.
I've
seen it.
And then that was the end of all of our turns. And then so, we had to reactivate everything, start again from the beginning. But he during the buying phase, he bought someone for like just 5 coins or 5 gold. And then I'm looking down, and I'm like, okay, so 5 coins. I got this. I just need one more point. I'm just gonna do this, do that, do this, and then I get my 25 points. I was like in my head, I was like 29, but who's really counting? And then all of a sudden, I'm like, all right, I go first because I have my captain. He's like, no, I have one, and it's the one he had just bought, and it was a 5 captain. I had a 4 captain. He had a 5. I was just like.
That's how it works. Yeah.
I lost.
That's a great play.
Yeah, and he made someone else move to kill someone that was on the other side of the board next to his other guy, and I'm just like,
Yep.
why?
I actually taught him that a long time ago. I told him about the ranking. You gotta pay attention to the ranking, and the captains are gonna help a lot.
I did not know there was a 5 captain on his team. I did not pay attention at all to that, and I guess that because I was trying to make sure that he does everything properly during the game, but I shouldn't have, because in some kind of way, I should be able to detect something. And it's funny too, because I asked Randolph to watch him, but he's like he's all of a sudden he's just Angel's on his right side. He goes.
Pete,
Is you're losing.
Yeah.
Is you're losing.
I'm like, hey Pete, is this a legal move? Hey,
Oh yeah.
is this right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, my gosh. Okay, so all right. So obviously that was like a terrible strategy in the end for me, even though I thought I had it in the bag, didn't watch him. Is there a game that either of you have seen? I guess I want to hear each of your stories that you guys saw that you were just like, wow. Like, what was there any gameplay that wowed you? And who were the 2 factions that were going up against each other?
Yeah, I think so we were at this this convention, and there was a couple people who were kind of game store owners playing. Jay, do you want to tell that opposite side of the story about Austin Bosom? I can tell you that one. We can tell that one later. But basically, so this there was a big battle, Doomsand and Primus, and they were going at it, and this player recruited a unit for Doomsand. I don't know if you guys have played it, but it has an ability called Kidnap, where basically it can kidnap a weaker unit. And you get the points. You get the points temporarily until your opponent pays a ransom, basically. So they pay you a bunch of gold, and then you lose the points. But this player weakened, so he attacked the Kraken, the Jungle River Kraken, which is a big unit for Primus. Hit him with a couple spells, and then basically the player snuck his rogue out and kidnapped it. And won the game automatically because he hit the point total. So that was the first time I've ever seen somebody, kidnap for a win. And it was really cool to see because it was one of those things where you're like, oh, this could happen, but we'll see if it ever does. And it does. It did right there, and it was pretty sweet to see. So
He literally stole that win.
he stole it, yeah.
Like, wow.
With the bandit, yeah. So it was perfect, yeah.
And that was Doomsand?
Yeah, that's
Doomsand,
Jay's faction
yeah.
is.
It was funny because he was having a hard time with it the first time, but
he got it down afterwards.
Did he? Oh, I didn't play him that second time. I played him against when he was were we on the same team? Me and him? Was he me and him versus you and Pono? Okay. Oh no, it was a free for all, right?
Yeah, I remember we got slaughtered by Pono, but anyways, yes.
Yeah. I remember. First time too.
Yes.
And our buddy Jay was already playing Randolph earlier, so. Jeez. But my brother's he loves games like chess. So 1v1 games with a lot of strategy. Yeah, he's going to be formidable.
All over that.
He's going to be formidable.
So Jason, was there a opposite story to that?
Yeah.
Your side?
Yeah. So there's these 2 guys that were playing all weekend. So they actually played multiple days, and it was their first time playing it at the convention we went to in Milwaukee over the winter. So they're best friends, and this one guy, he's 4-0, and the other guy's 0-4, so he hasn't won a game all day. And so the guy who's 4-0, he's like, I'm gonna choose Moonshot. I'm feeling myself. I'm winning. So let's choose this faction with a deeper strategy. And his friend's like, I gotta get a victory, so I'm gonna choose Bizarria because they got zombies, they got spells, so I gotta be able to win that way. And so when they're going to start the game, because initially you choose your units, so the Bizarria player takes out 3 units, and that does actually factor a little bit later into the game. And so he's playing against the Moonshadow player, and he's actually getting beat down. But he's like, I feel like I can be in a position where I can get back in this game. So I have this great strategy. I have my Asabosum war chief, and I'm gonna hit him. I'm gonna use the war horn and summon some other the other awesome Bosum for free. So just using the mana instead of gold. So he gets ready to activate the war horn, and then he looks at the 12 cards that he has, and he's like, I don't know if I can summon this. And so I look and I'm like, dude, you took out all the awesome Bosum that you can summon, so you can't use the war horn. So you paid for this war chief, but you can't even use the ability at all. So essentially, I called you over to dude, we're like, look at this. He paid for this war chief. He's gonna get back in the game, but you can't even utilize the strategy. It's like one of the worst moves we've ever seen in a game.
There's only 3. You only take out 3 units to begin. Yeah. So you play with 12 out of 15. He took out all 3 awesome Bosum. You couldn't have even staged it.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Maybe the worst move we've ever seen over the course of
the worst move possible, and maybe the worst move possible.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh
wow!
I should try it. Maybe something different will happen.
But that's what's interesting about it too, is the more you play, the more you realize choosing those units, the 12 units that you play with, that just adds to more player customization, and it gets more and more important the more you play against experienced players and the more experience you have too. So
okay. Yeah. Have you seen, or is there a lot of free-for-all matches that you've seen since? Free-for-all, big ones, the ones that we did where, there's 4 of us and one versus everybody kind of deal.
Yeah.
Do you see a lot of, all right, how should I put this question? Has there ever been friend disputes because of it? How Monopoly will change you.
You know what
I mean? Like Catan. Yeah. You know what I mean? Have you seen it live? Do you guys have it? You guys should capture those moments. Maybe
I do.
Yeah.
You do.
The artist from Bizarria, we played multiple times and I've never beaten them. So I was like, dude, we can't work again until I get a victory. It's I gotta beat you at least once before you can illustrate any more factions.
Oh yeah, in 3 and 4 player games, it's funny because whoever's winning, whoever's the biggest threat, people gang up on, and it gets pretty interactive, and people are like, no, it's not me. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. They'll flat out say, I'm gonna go kill. They're gonna work together. Be like, I'm gonna go take out this threat, and so, and then it just gets messy. For sure. The other thing too is you only get the points if you're the one who eliminates the unit. So if we're playing and I got a unit that has 9 health and does 8 damage to it, and then Randolph comes in and does the last damage, Randolph gets all the points.
Very picky right here.
So it gets pretty savage.
That is mean. That is just mean.
In fact, that's what happened when I went up against Haley and Angel. They saw me as a threat for some reason, and then they killed me in 2 turns, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna watch, and they just went at it. It was Primus Big Bird against Ihalaban's Big Bird, so it's pretty amazing to watch.
That's cool. Yeah.
Oh man, there's just so many things that can go on in a game. Okay, so there was this one move I did which was called Plunge. I'm pretty sure we spoke on it on Discord.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And for some reason I was just like, okay, if I'm plunged, that means I land on the water. But if I go on land, I asked Randolph earlier, if I go on land, does it mean that my turn is over? I can't move anymore? Is that
So I asked Pete on this. I'm gonna let him explain it, but he had a good point. but I'll let him talk about it.
Yeah, sure. So basically, plunge, like, basically what it means is that your unit can move through or on a water space, and it doesn't cost any of its movement points. So if if my unit is next to a water or two water spaces, because it can do up to two, I can move through one water space, through another water space. Then I still got my move left. I can still do my actual move over the land. The
Right.
reason being for those, yeah. So you can move through a water like freely, and then move on to land and then attack, which is kind of the point of it, because we
Right.
didn't want those like that particular unit, Yakaruna, which is kind of like a merfolk type unit. We wanted it to have the ability to be able to function on land and water. So there's just a few things like that. Like the card art, we tried to make as kind of indicative of what the units do as
Right.
possible. And Jason like did an amazing job of that with his team, like making sure it's like, oh, this unit's ranged. Let's make sure they have like a ranged weapon in it. Like this unit is in the water. Let's make sure let's make sure that it can help people kind of learn the abilities just based on kind of how the units look and function. But plunge is really cool for Zermano. It's like a unique ability to that faction. It really makes the water spaces like basically like turbo boosters. You can just shoot through them pretty quickly and get to the other side of them and attack, really.
Okay. Yeah, sorry if my a lot of my questions are Zermano based. I mean, obviously
Yeah,
that's
no, it's great.
it's kind of what I'm sticking with right now.
Yeah.
Because I was just like I feel like I was like, this is my faction right here. I mean, there's a guy that looks like Maui on there. I used to have long hair. I was like, yeah, I look like that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
So,
yeah, it's funny you brought that up, and I want to revisit this again. As to why factions is actually one of my top games right now, is because of that diversity, and I think the team put together a huge group of people to illustrate that, and then I think they have the book with it too that was part of the Kickstarter. How's that coming along?
Yeah, so the book is entirely set. Actually, those boxes behind me, that's where all the books are. So they're like in my little office room. So like all the copies, but it was cool, I guess, like for me as far as putting that all together, because traditionally for concept art books, like the artists don't get to speak about like their process and their experience. So be able to have all the artists come back and we kind of talk about like how they're able to build all
Mhm.
those details, like Iz was saying, just like a lot of the cultural details that actually make the factions feel authentic to
mhm.
like the region of the faction, but also like their strategy too. Like it all fits together in this cohesive way, and that's part of like Peter's leadership in the design, and then me trying to take that design and implement in a visual way. But yeah, so like the book is all set; those are ready to ship out when the game is going out sooner than later. And yeah, and I think it's cool for people to be able to see that aspect of it, like all the sketches and all of, like the concept artwork that it took to actually build this game, but also to find out about the lore about it too, and what makes the
Mhm.
world so awesome as well.
I'm excited for the lore for sure.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
cannot wait.
neither can we.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, it seems Angel is in the live. He said that was a crazy game, Izzy. I thought I was going to lose. Sure you did. You were half asleep and you mopped the floor at the last moment. You're just like he had his blanket on, his shoulders. He's just
Yeah,
like,
he did. He did.
and then he's like,
He had his blanket over.
I trust in the heart of the gold. And then boom. A
I'd like to
level
know what
5 captain.
I would like to know what Angel's top like three factions and or top three units,
Yes.
regardless
Oh,
of faction, are.
yeah.
That'd be cool.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Angel, if you're still in the chat, go ahead and put those down. Favorite top 3 factions and top 3 units.
Well, I can tell you his top two right now. It's Crag and Ihalaban. Ihalaban's his top one right now.
Bragg actually does have my personal favorite unit in the game, which is the Ogre Berserker, because it can rack up points in a couple different ways. And that's again, it's like my favorite unit changes every week. So right now, that's what it is.
Today I'm feeling like Zermano. I know. Next week I'm gonna feel
Yeah.
like Ihalaban. I get that.
I think that my next two will probably be Crag and Zion, because I just well, I have experience with Zion from the tabletop simulator.
Yeah.
And Craig, I love the art, and I'm big on like orcs and ogres and beasts, stuff like that.
There you go.
That's where I'm at. Like when I play my game War Machines with Randolph, like my guys are scorn and they're just a bunch of beasts. And you know what I mean? So like, yeah, so I'm definitely going to be trying those two out next. I definitely want to play them all. I want to kind of just get, just a good understanding, you know what I mean, of them. And I wonder if like Randolph taught me the strategy using the bird in Zermano to just kind of just stay away and just kind of just, fill your pockets up with mana. You know what I mean? And,
exactly, yeah.
And I'm just like, that is brilliant. Why didn't I think of that? That's literally what it says on the card. Add +1 to mana.
That's a Jason Crayton move all day
there.
Like, every game he puts that out right in the beginning, and it just stays out there.
Yeah. See?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I know now. I didn't know before. That's for sure.
Yeah. But I mean, you also had your battle mage. So I was telling him, you want to use your ice missile as much as you can.
Yeah.
Every turn, as much as you can. So capture the mana, take your bird out, and then get the word that can give out not give out gold, but he's like one of the only ones that can produce gold. Put him out to the game early because you want to get units out there as well. And the ice missile is crazy. Four spaces.
Crazy. Yep. It's the farthest range thing in the game right now. So yeah, and that unit, there were some weeks where that was my favorite unit too, to be honest. So
I think what's really cool about you talking about that, Randolph, I think for Pete and myself, it's interesting to hear like what their favorite like opening like Vanguard is.
Yeah.
So, like what units are you going to start the game with? And I think that's really what's so cool about that too, because it's different for everyone.
Yeah. So I could tell you right now, I've seen a lot of variations that Angel uses. He likes the I keep forgetting her name, but she's the one with the runestone in the Halaban. That's Salamanquero. Yeah. So he likes bringing her out, and he likes pairing her with the Kobe Kumpo, I think.
Yeah, the Kobe Kumpo, yeah.
Yeah,
that's a good unit, yeah.
Him and the usurper.
Yeah.
One of those. Yeah. So like one of those, he has like I notice is that he likes to like switch it off. Like he does it so cleverishly. Like if you play him and those are the two that he's using, the next game he won't use it again. He would use the other variation. So he switches it up, but he always brings in the Bakunawa.
Yeah.
That dude's crazy.
Yeah. We talked about this on Discord. Like, I can't wait because I think the debate is going to be best overall unit is going to be between that and the Quaddle and Primus, and that's my opinion, the best two just overall units in the game. But yeah, that's a great that's a great strategy to mix it up and make sure that you're always kind of prepared for the next. Like you could not let people get used to your patterns, I think is like a big thing. So
yeah, throws you off. And then the guy with the waves of blade, I keep forgetting about him. I will line up my people, and he said, "Oh, is this the card that can like yes, yes." I don't even know. Yes, go ahead. Yes. You're like, I lose. I get it.
You're like, no.
It's interesting.
No, it's not.
It's interesting because there's a unit that uses Wave of Blades in Doomsand too. Like, and that one has flying. It's the Genie, and that one I've seen get like cast a lot more than the one in a Halaban because the unit can fly, so it can do it on either level, and it has teleport, so it bounces around. So like for Doomsand, like for a Halaban, that's like third, fourth, fifth option sometimes. For Doomsand, that's like one of the top two options like for the faction. So it's just interesting, like the different faction styles too that you see. So
okay. I have a question for I guess some of the feedback that you guys have gotten. Is there any well, I guess this is probably like a branch question. So has anybody brought up the cultural aspect, like do they love it? Do they like have they has any of them reached out to you guys and like talked to you about it? Because I mean, right now, understanding that Zermano is like half Polynesian and then half, I believe, African, right? Or South African?
It's Afro-Nesian. I think.
Afro-Nesian?
There's South
Yeah,
African influences
yeah.
and Polynesian.
Yeah, so I relate to that. So I really appreciate that and how it is. That's why I can't wait till the lore comes out to see how more in depth each character will go into on their culture. So has anybody reached out to you guys about it? Have you guys gotten like what's some of the cool feedback that you guys got on those subjects?
I would say, like, initially, I think it was around the time we ran the Kickstarter, because that's when we were fairly, like, active in social media and kind of building some buzz. And I think probably one of the coolest things as far as, like, feedback we've gotten is, like, we'll get DMs from people, for example, like, for Primus, when we first released that, and people saw just, like, the clear influences from, like, for example, like, the Quaddle, and people would say, like, hey, I grew up with this, like, culturally, and I haven't seen this in a fantasy game, because traditionally it's more Eurocentric, mythology, and also like high fantasy like creatures and monsters like that you typically would see. I think that was probably one of the best compliments we've ever received, and that's happened multiple times where people would say like, "Hey, I grew up with this. It's awesome to see it present, and I'd want to support you because of that, because I feel like validated, and I've never seen this before." And so I think that's by far one of the highest compliments that we hope to receive.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's okay. Yeah. See, that's the stuff I love to hear because, it just I guess it tells that the work that you're putting in, the passion you're putting in is there, and, yeah, definitely. For those who are listening, I would definitely check out, the Factions Battlegrounds social media. I put them on top of the screen here, on the YouTube live. I will put it in the description for those who are just listening to us. And yeah, no, it's definitely amazing, and and the culture aspect. Yeah, so that's why talking about the lore again, it's gonna be sick. For sure. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a big anime and manga head. All right, so I would love to see like someone like do like an adaptation. Like, I guess the League of Legends just came out with a series called Arcane.
Arcane, yeah.
Yeah, Arcane. So I mean, if y'all listening, you know what I'm saying?
Bring back illustrators and do it again.
Honestly, that's a huge inspiration for me. Like, so the cool thing is, like, Peter and I, like, now we're at a stage where we can talk about developing lore more and tiny things, of course, because, like, when we first started developing, like, there's obviously general ideas that we have, and also, like, for like, the cultures that are influenced by the factions, but also, like, how that fits into the lore of the world. But the more you do it, the more you refine it. So it's, it's much tighter than it was a year ago. And it was maybe about a month or two ago, he released this post that had some of like the cultural influences for some of the weapons from the factions. And one of our artists who does some concept stuff for us on Illustrated Moonshadow created those weapons. And so for us, just the idea of then having this guide where it's like, hey, these are all the types of weapons that the factions use, and this is the specific region that it comes from. So whether it's like Central Africa or South Africa, depending on the faction, just
Right.
for example, like Parada is West African, Zermano South African influence, and Bazaria is going to eventually have some more Central African stuff with their Asambosum and things like that, where it's like, hey, this is not just African, it's from this one specific region, this one specific culture, and let's implement that and make it feel more authentic. And the deeper we can get into that and fit that into the lore, the better. So I'm really excited for people to see that. And Pete's got some dope ideas as far as the lore and characters and things that are happening. So it's cooking, man.
Yeah,
Oh.
for sure, for sure. Yeah,
Cannot wait.
You're gonna see like a sort of a pivot in what we do after. We're gonna do an expansion for the game, and then we're gonna move from being a game to basically being a fantasy world, and that's kind of gonna be our focus moving forward after we get through kind of this next year, I guess you could say really. So
Okay.
yeah, there's some exciting stuff happening.
Going
That's
back to
amazing.
Arcane and Riot is like, I'm jealous. Like we want that. Like we want people
Yeah.
to be able to like engage in this world and content that's being put out and have characters that people relate to
Right.
and really really enjoy like learning about. So that's what we want.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's. So I was asking Angel, and he was saying that his top 3 units, well, his top 2 factions was Crag and Ihalabon, so that confirms what I just said earlier.
Yeah.
And his 3 are the Bakunawa, and he's like the girl that summons him, and then the wave of blade guy. I'm like, good names. Good names.
Yeah. There you go.
Those
There
are the
you go.
stars.
Hey, man,
Those are good units. Good units.
he likes what he likes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So far, he's the champion right now. You know what I'm
He
saying?
is the reigning
You know,
champion
he's a
in our
reigning
household.
I think in the state right now.
That's true. That's
I mean,
true. That's
until
big.
I gotta start branching out from Zermano. I'm getting a little too comfortable in the Zermano pool. I must branch out, and I must also remember to add my mana after every round. And I remember I was just sitting pretty at like 12, and I'm like, yo, we played like 3 rounds. This hasn't. I forgot. Oh, jeez. Yeah. So.
Hey, so
yeah.
So I'm gonna start with you, Pete. But Pete, what are your top 3 factions, and what are your top 3 units that you like playing? And it could be from any faction, like a mix.
Yeah. I think my top 3 factions right now, I like playing with Doomsand a lot. I like Bazaria. I think they both are kind of opposite styles. Doomsand is very chaotic and kind of likes to go for like the flashy moves and the flashy spells. And Bazaria is a lot more measured, a lot more calculated. They do some different things like based on controlling the board. And then I think, my third that I like to play with right now, I think is probably Parada. I'm liking Parada a lot lately. Just kind of setting up different ranged attacks and things like that. My favorite 3 units, I'm gonna actually go with a couple units that aren't even on the factions I said. So I really think like one of the best units in the game is the Swiftwing Valkyrie for Zion.
Oh
It's
my gosh,
super fast, super high rank, flies. It's just
super good.
it gets anywhere on the board, and it can help in a whole bunch of different ways. That's one of my favorites. I think another one of my favorite units, for sure, would probably be the Dark Trench Yakumama on Primus, because it's an aquatic unit, and you don't expect that from Primus because they like basically have one of the only aquatic units that aren't in Zermano in the game, so it's a really nice surprise attacker. And then my other favorite unit right now, I would say, is probably, like I mentioned a little bit before, the Ogre Berserker. Excellent melee unit, and it scores by killing units like with overkill, and then it also scores by killing units that have higher point value than it. So it can rack up points like really quick, and is a good matchup for just the front line of combat. Keeps it simple. So
I like that.
yeah.
Oh man, love it.
That's tight.
It's funny because like our top 3 units are like so very different, and I think, which is like pretty cool. So like as far as like my at least top 3 favorite factions, Zion is by far up there because I like the idea of being able to really take advantage of the idea that there being no deck, so I can be highly tactical in the units I choose, and trying to choose a lot of like high rank units so I can break rank ties and be able to constantly move before my opponent and kind of really get that strategy going. So I love that about them. And then also Zermano, you got to sling spells a little bit.
Yeah.
So I love the idea of being able to put like a big like trench across the board, get a river going, and then shoot across that thing. So I think that's super unique to them. And then late game, you got to bring out the aquatic units, eat them up at the end. So bring out the big water beasts. So I love that about Zermano. And then like a faction that's dear to my heart is one of the original 6 that I always used to play with, and that's Parada, because I love the idea of how swift they are. And also being able to have range, just shooting from a distance without having to pay mana for it. So I love Parada, the way they move around the board, and you gotta hit them from across the battleground. So I love that. As far as my top 3 favorite units, so this is a shout to Iz. So the Mana Wing Aku from Zermano. It's like small and it's weak, but it's probably the best one drop in the game.
Yeah.
So to pay 1 gold for a unit and be able to generate extra mana and also do a little bit of hummingbirding over those resources. So like that's a go-to always in the opening Vanguard. I would say, okay, so this one I would say with Pete, I agree. The Swiftwing Valkyrie, the fastest unit in the game, and so that'll be in my top 3 too, because I think that's just speed of 4. You can't knock that. And then I'll go with the Quaddle. So that's probably arguably the best unit in the game. Like so, at least top 3, top 5. So yeah,
for sure.
The Quaddle, that's the one from Primus, right?
Yeah, no doubt. It's
yeah.
Okay, so that's the bird that.
And spells.
Yeah.
You like
So
that
it's interesting to see that big bird go against a Holoman's big bird. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Just
Since Jay copied one of mine, I'll pick a different one. I'll take the Swiftwing Valkyrie out since there's like over 200 units in the game, and he picked the same one that I did.
I was gonna say the mana like the angel, Fire Sky Angel, but I was like, man.
I'll say the Assassin Mage in Doomsand, because that one has a teleport, so it can teleport and then cast its Slice Blade spell right after. So you can teleport any spot on the board and then cast another spell immediately. It's the only unit, one of the only units that can do 2 spells in one round.
Oh, okay.
So it mimics basically an assassin, and so I like doing that one. And that one people like to really misuse. I think they put it out right away, and I don't know. It was kind of weird to see, but when you use it the correct way, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So, yeah.
Okay.
Oh man.
Just wanted to put a different one out there, so we didn't pick one of the same.
Yeah, it's like we all know who's the favorite.
Yeah, seriously.
Valkyrie.
Yeah, no. I wish. I mean, if I've played more, I'd probably have a top 3 myself. But I do have ones that I do have in mind, and one of them I believe is the Gargoyle in Zion. I think it is.
Yeah, it's Zermano. Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah.
Is it Zermano?
Okay.
He's a.
Yeah.
Is he a? Yeah, he's a fly type, and he has like a range of 3, I think, or he's like, or is it scratch? Yeah, he's in Zermano for real. I thought he was in Zion.
The Gargoyle is, but there's a few Valkyries that aren't in that are in Zion. The Valkyries are in Zion. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I remember there was it's like a orange, or not an orange, like a yellow gargoyle inside like a cave. I thought that was it was a gargoyle. Maybe I'm wrong, but that was one of my first ones that I saw. I was just like, this is nice, and I put on there. And then I think Jason, you was telling me that, oh yeah, this can do this, and I was just like, okay, I was like, I did a great move then. Like this is a good move. Okay, all right.
Nice.
So there's definitely one. Yeah, it's definitely one of the ones that stuck with me, and it's Aku, right? That's the bird that generates mana. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that, because that was when you guys were talking about it, I was like, oh, he was definitely up there, only because he's cheap and he can give me extra mana. So actually, instead of just the 1 mana that he already generates, is the extra one. So I'm just like, yeah, this dude's dope. He's like a mana pool, or like corner and center. You know what I mean? But just for
in
you,
the corner,
for sure.
in the back.
Yeah.
In the back.
And if you hummingbird over a mana pool, that's like 4 right there. Just wow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Jeez.
Nice. So my top 3 factions are gonna be of course the Halaban. Number 2 is I really like Crag. But it's not my number 2. It's Zermano, actually. Sorry, is number 3 is gonna be
Hey,
it's gonna be I like Zermano.
it's okay, dude. Totally, I understand, bro.
Yeah,
I get it.
All right.
Heart. I get
the third one's gonna have to be Parada, actually.
Nice.
I do Crag and Parada are like they're fighting for my 3rd spot right now. They're total opposite. One just likes to beat your face down. The other one likes to just shoot away.
Exactly. Yeah.
Top 3 units. The first one would have to be the Salamanquero, because Dude, she's just amazing. Like she's just
Yeah.
she goes out there and she does have a spell. I forgot what it's called. I think it's like
She's got a shockwave.
the shockwave spell, yeah.
Yep.
So she has some offensive abilities, but usually what we use her for is her runestone to bring in the Bakunawa. And so that's amazing. I like that one. The second one, I was gonna say the Valkyrie, but since you both got it, I'm gonna take it out.
And there's another Valkyrie that's really good too. The Valkyrie Defender is just almost just as good, or just as good in mine. So you could say that, yeah.
Yeah.
Jason
So
just
yeah,
said the exact one I
I know.
Yeah, that one is like her
It's not
tactician.
funny. I should have done.
But I like the Titan from
Yeah.
Ryan. The Titan has overpower, and he could just like once he's out there, he costs a lot, but he's worth it.
Yeah.
When you bring him out. The third one, I'm gonna have to say the Battle Mage from Zermano, the Ice Missile. Holy cow! 4 spaces. Yep, can't go wrong with that one.
That's a good list.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is, the ice missile is nice. Actually, I have a question about those 4 spaces. So
Oh, man.
apparently, the spaces can move similar to what a knight on a chessboard does. Meaning, like it can go straight over one, and then it can go diagonal.
Yes, correct.
Depending on the terrain type.
That
Depending on the terrain.
yeah, right. That is,
Yeah.
I forgot that move, and I got destroyed. That was I was just like, oh, that was a thing, and I'm thinking like, I was just like, no, this can't be it, no. But then he did say that, oh, it depends if you own the tile. I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
because I tried. I was like, look, see, if I go diagonal, he said, yeah, but that's my tile. I was like, of course it's your tile.
Yeah.
Of
This is
course.
my house, not your house. It's my
Of
house.
course. I was just like,
funny,
these are
like-
house rules.
It's
Yep.
really funny, like the interesting things that people like focus on sometimes. Like people be like, well, what do you mean? Like, because that's the same thing for range. Would be like, well, an arrow can't really do that and move corner to corner and all that. And we're like, yeah, but also you can't exactly like just summon like genies and all the. It's a fantasy game and it doesn't make it like much better.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
so
Very
yeah,
true.
like yes, technically, yeah, it defies the laws of gravity, but you know, like it makes the game a lot better. So.
Yeah. I just
So
forgot that it could do
don't think
that.
too hard. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah,
And I'm just like, I missed.
yeah.
It is. Just think of the Ice Missile, the Battle Mage. She's controlling it. Just do
Oh,
that.
it has nothing.
She's
It
like-
has nothing to do with how she's controlling it. I just didn't know you could do that. I thought it was like, just has to be like, quadrilateral or something like that. You know what I mean? And apparently no. So that did make the game for me actually a lot funner because that
Exactly,
it doesn't hinder me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which I definitely do applaud that that we have more freedom on how to attack because you aren't like in some games where a wall could like you
Right.
can't like attack on the other side and literally they can just kind of sneak behind you and then that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So one more thing before we move on to the next thing. You know how I told you Angel is pretty good with the angles, which is pretty. That's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. Angel with the angles. Yeah. So he has this. He shot me from an awkward position. Like he was trying to like shoot around one of my units, and it worked. Cause he was like, "Can I go diagonal here and then straight and then, like that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he can." It's that little the big old ogre from Crag that can just throw stuff, and he killed me because of that.
Yeah.
From Crag. And I'm like, what the heck?
He's
I
like,
did
"Got a
not think of
boulder."
it that way. Yeah, no, he's like brought the boulder back and just launched it over my unit basically.
I think like it's funny because like the way that we try to design it is that it's actually like a real time battle. So that's why it's like not turns and rank. So it's like. So yeah,
Back and
so it's
forth.
kind of like all of this is happening like pretty quickly. So it's like this unit moves here, but it's not like if he's like throwing it like through him, he's like throwing it right before or right after. Like I don't know, it just is like it's supposed to mimic a real time clock as much as you can in a board game. If that makes sense.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
but yeah, there's a lot of awkward stuff like that. Like it'll like something will like shoot a lightning bolt like it'll like go like through two people and it won't hurt your teammates. And yeah, it's stuff like that, you know, you can't, at the end of the day, it's like, all right, that's just what it is, you know, to make the game work.
Okay. So, what is up next for you guys? Is it like, what is the, I guess, you did say within the next year you're going to be starting to talk about, was it the lore or?
Yeah.
You know, so what is the next thing that you guys are working on going forward with Factions Battlegrounds?
Yeah, well, I'll kind of say what's next for the game, and then Jay has a big announcement about some special place that we might be going later this summer. But
All right.
Basically for the game, we got hit hard, COVID delays and with supply chain, so we're finishing up getting that out to the original backers. Once that's done, we're going to start putting together an expansion, which is going to have new faction and some new units for every faction, and then maybe a few other things too. And then we're going to pivot once that's out. We're going to have all the kind of fundamentals in place for the world that we want to build, and then we're going to focus on kind of creating characters and storylines and all that good stuff. And in the meantime, we're going to be doing some things with the game, like just going to different places. So, you want to take it away, Jay?
Yeah.
Can't wait.
So essentially, this summer, we're just gonna be like prepping to kind of move things forward. So just kind of even like looking at new artists to recruit for potential expansion. So kind of getting the ground, you know, getting things rolling with that. And then we are gonna be going to one of the biggest gaming conventions in the U.S., and that will be Gen Con. August, yeah. So Thursday, August 4th through Sunday, August 7th, we plan on to be there to have a booth there to show off the games and sell games, but also to have a room to have people actually play the game and try out their favorite faction and learn what makes this game so awesome. So yeah, we're extremely excited to be at Gen Con for the first time ever with the real production copies of the game and really show people like what makes this game special and different.
Oh my gosh, Gen Con.
Gen Con.
So
And I'm gonna add that me and my family will be there. So you'll be seeing the infamous Angel and his sister Haley and myself, because you know they're the worst. But yeah, we're gonna be there, hang out with you guys, and yeah, get some games in. So I can't wait.
Awesome. I can't wait.
So
Angel,
we guys
I'm
are cosplaying as.
We're cosplaying as Factions Battlegrounds because we gotta sell some units. We gotta sell some games.
Izzy, you can be that Maui guy.
Yeah,
I'll be the Maui guy for sure. I'll just, I'll get like a wig or something. You know,
no?
I have everything else. Like I have access to everything else. Oh,
Got this.
Oh, dang.
Look at this.
Oh.
Zermano weapon.
yes!
So nice.
Wow,
It's like 4 feet tall.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, on that too, it's kind of on the Discord server. We actually put a very small spoiler somewhere that had to do with the weapons. So I'll just leave that. I'll just leave that.
Okay, and we'll put your guys' Discords in the description below for sure.
Yeah.
I want to thank you guys
keep
so
coming.
much for coming. For coming on the podcast again for the second time. It's been about a year since the last time we were all together, and I do want to go to Gen Con. Or Gen Con, is it Gen Con? Gen Con? I'm saying it wrong.
Gen Con.
Because
It is Gen Con.
I'm thinking of anime conventions now, And I was just like, is it Genesis? Or
Yeah. That's way too in the beginning.
And so, yeah, and it's always a pleasure talking to you guys and also getting you guys' feedback
Yes.
while we play. And you guys are so active with it. It's awesome. So, those who are listening and watching on the YouTube live, if you guys have any questions, we're going to leave their information on the screen, as you guys can see on the YouTube live. We'll put in the descriptions below. If you guys want any information about the game Factions Battleground, go to check out factionsbattlegrounds.com, and you guys can talk to Jason and Pete and the rest of the community that is playing the games. And thank you again, Jason, Pete. You guys have been awesome. And,
Also, want to add Facebook. Check them out as well. We'll leave their Discord server. I really appreciate them. You know, they're awesome. As far as I could be playing like at 10 p.m., he would be coming back like, yes, no, whatever. Like, dang, this guy's committed. I
Exactly.
love it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
That's the only thing is we go to bed a little early. So, but we love it. We love you guys and the passion that you bring, and every backer who plays. You know, we want you to be a part of our community, and so we want to try to answer questions, and we, you know, like there's a rule book in there, but you know, if you could talk to the creator, that sometimes helps a lot too. So but you guys are always so awesome, and you've been supporting from day one. We're so glad that we could get you the game and that you enjoy playing it. And we will come on anytime.
Yeah, for sure.
Great.
There will be a part 3. Just a spoiler alert. There's going to be a part 3, guys.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially after we can eventually see you guys at Gen
Yeah.
Con. That's something else, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when are the dates for Gen Con?
Yeah, so that's Thursday, August 4th through Sunday, August 7th, and we'll be there every day.
Okay.
Perfect.
Must put on my calendar. You know what I'm saying? No, but thank you guys so much. Once
Thank you,
again,
guys.
I'm Iz.
I'm Randolph.
I will see you guys next time.
Peace.
Thank you, fellas.
Sweet. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys so much.